In this we will see the MySQL queries and prompts. Simple query that asks the server to tell you its version number and the current date. Let's check it. If you want to see the version and the current date, you can check with the command select version parenthesis and then the current date and a semicolon. It will give you the version and current date. The query will be like this. A query normally consists of an SQL statement followed by a semicolon, as you can see here. MySQL prompt to indicate that it is ready for another query, as you can see here. This also shows how many rows were returned and how long the query took to execute and provide server performance based on the server load and the network latency. As you can see here, it indicates the time the query took to execute. As in another query, if you see, the time taken is 0.01 second. Next, keywords may be entered in any letter case, so it is not case sensitive. As you can see in this query, the letters are small and big. If you change the letter case of these keywords, suppose if I type S in capital, E in small, L in small, E in capital, small, and V capital, E small, R capital, S small, I capital, ION, and I'll give the parenthesis and then the current I'll write in irregular, small and capital, current date. So it will give out the same output. So the keywords can be entered in any letter case. It is not case sensitive. Now using MySQL as a simple calculator. MySQL can be used as a simple calculator. If I use it using the command select, and if I want to calculate the cos pi by 2 and if I do this calculation, so and then I put the semicolon, it will give out the output. As you can see in this example, it is doing the calculations. One thing to note here that both of these query are single line statements. There might be a query with multiple statements on a single line, as you can see in this example. Let's use the multiple statement on a single line. So I type select version and close this statement. Type select now and I close this. So this is an example of multiple statement on a single line. So it will give out two outputs. Version will give the version and now will give the date timestamp. It determines where your statement ends by looking for the terminating semicolon. Next, the queries can be the multiple line statement, as you can see in this example. Now let's see the query with multiple line statement. Select this is my first line, then I can use the second line, then I can use the third line. Unless I type the semicolon, this will not end, the query will not end. Current date. And finally I put the semicolon and this will give us the output. So this is an example of query with multiple line statement. Here you can see the prompt is changing. This indicates that it is not a complete statement and is waiting for the rest. Unless you type semicolon, it will wait for the input. Now if you want to cancel a query, suppose we have written a query and wanted to cancel it. Student, suppose we want to cancel this query. So we just have to do the slash and this prompt will come, this shows the new query to start and this will cancel the query. You can do that by typing /c as you can see in this example. Next we'll see the prompt. This prompt indicate line containing a string that begins with a single quote or a double quote character but have not yet terminated the string by entering the matching quote. As you can see in this query, not yet terminated the string by entering the matching code in the name is equal to SQL. The name SQL is not terminated with a double quote. So in this case, first close the string and cancels the query. You cannot just type /c in this case as MySQL interprets it as a part of the string. Let us see the single quote and double quote prompt. Suppose if I write a query, select all select all from a table named SQL table where name equals to SQL, and I don't close this with a double quote, and I'm putting a condition name is equal to SQL and age is less than 38, and end this with a semicolon. So this will show that it is not yet terminated the string by entering the matching code, which is double quote. As you can see here, name SQL is not yet terminated with a double quote. So I cannot cancel this query by saying /c, because in this case MySQL interprets it as a part of the string. So instead of that, we can close this string first and then we can cancel the query. So it will close. Now to summarize the prompt, this indicates ready for a new query. This one indicates waiting for the next line of a multiple line query. This indicates waiting for next line, waiting for completion of a string that begin with a single quote. And here indicates waiting for the next line, waiting for the completion of a string that begin with a double quote. And this is indicates waiting for the next line, waiting for the completion of an identifier that begins with a backtick. And this indicates waiting for a next line, waiting for the completion of a comment that begin with a slash and asterisk.